All right, welcome everyone. It is Thursday, July 7th. Welcome to the CSI Secrets Community Call. And just as a reminder, this call is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. So just be nice and kind to each other. You'll be okay. We got a pretty decent agenda. And again, Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully everyone had enjoying the holidays and or time off and recharge the batteries. I will go ahead and moderate. If anyone wants to take notes, please feel free if you're in court reporter mode. If not, I'll try to do double duty.
I can help with notes.
Okay, thank you, Anish. And if there's anyone new to the call, if they want to introduce themselves, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess I can give a quick introduction.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Mael. I'm a contributor for Cert Manager, and I might work there at JetStack next week, probably. And I'm interested in knowing the SIG oath, like things you do. Yeah, that's pretty much why I'm here.
Awesome. And I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it. Is it Mal or male?
Either way, I would say Mael.
Okay, Mel. Okay, all right. Well, thanks for joining us, Mel. We look forward to working with you on this project.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's see. First topic here is credentials used for driver proud jobs.
Yeah, I had actually added that after some discussion with Rita and Tommy. So
Okay.
Last week we saw the GCP jobs were failing. So I had created the GitHub issue 418 to basically list out the PRs where it was failing. And then Tommy was able to take a look at it and found out that the credentials are expired. So now we have rotated the credentials for the GCP provider. But again, the other one thing is it'll expire again in 3 months. So I think I just added it to the agenda so we can see what is a more sustainable manner, how we can rotate these credentials. Because even for Azure, we use service principals, which could potentially expire.
Yeah, I'll speak to the Google thing. The credentials that are used in the integration testing are governed by a Google policy that right now is exported service account credentials. The max lifetime is 90 days, I think. I'm looking internally to see if I can get exemptions for credentials like this, because 90 days is kind of a weird spot between not frequent enough to automate but like, yeah, it is or like difficult to automate, especially since we have to put it into the Kubernetes infrastructure, which like I don't have any permissions to that. So right now I think it's toil for GCP, and I just need to make bugs for us every 90 days to do it. But yeah, I'm not sure.
So do you know about the other credentials that GCP uses? I mean, most of the Pro clusters have other GCP credentials, right? So do they also have the same limitation?
So on GCP, there's things that are like exported credentials that you can, take and put on your laptop or, put anywhere. And then there's like instance metadata, or, like the GCE instance will have an identity. I'm not too familiar with how the Prow clusters are configured, but if we have access to the base job's identity, I could just grant that the necessary permissions over the secrets for the integration tests. Yeah, I could look into that. There may also be a way, I think Azure has a way to translate like GCP or other like arbitrary OAuth identities into GCP or into Azure identities. Maybe if we can access just the base PROW identity, that might be a way there to avoid exported kind of credentials or requiring secrets for these tests.
Anish, were you thinking of like maybe just reuse like some of the other jobs that are running, like say testing Kubernetes on GCP?
Yeah.
I think Ben Alder and the SIG test team probably would know way more about that than any one of us. So you may want to reach out to them, Tommy. Do you know Ben Alder?
I do not. I can.
Okay, we can share his GitHub tag.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I think for Azure, we try to use like the same identity for all the Proud jobs, so that when we do rotate, we only have to do it in one place, and then all the jobs will just get it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So if you do have, if like GCP has something like that, then potentially someone's already rotating that every 90 days, maybe. Then you don't have to worry about it, right? So you just have to like consume it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you say Ben Elder there is one to discuss.
Yeah, or SIG testing. You can send a message there. They're pretty active there.
Okay. Sweet. Thanks.
All right. So I think we're done with that topic. Yeah, this next one, this is simple. I think everyone knows this has been kind of an uptick in meeting Zoom bombs. I was actually on one. It's pretty crazy to experience that. So what we're going to do, I mean, from the community side, it's simple. We're just going to add a password to this meeting, and that will kind of stop some of the bots. But the big key here is we're going to disable the ability for anyone to just be able to share. If you do need to share, just ask the host, and then they will promote you to be able to share. And then by default, we are going to disable the whiteboard feature. I don't think we draw anything here anyway, so not a big deal there. So just know next meeting, there will be a passcode to the meeting. We'll update the doc, obviously, and it'll be something like all sevens. It's something very similar, simple, but that helps a little. That's it. Any questions about that? It's pretty standard stuff. Okay, cool.
So can you update the Zoom link at the top? And I think like for me, I just normally click on that. I don't even look at it.
Yeah. So we'll add the passcode here. All this stuff will be
Perfect. Yeah.
updated. I don't think you can do like an inline URI with the passcode. I think you'll still have to copy and paste that when you enter the meeting. All right. So next up, Anish, talking about v.0.19 latest release. That'll support some backwards compatibility.
Yeah, so before the holidays, I released 0.0.18. So it had quite a few improvements and stability. So I've created a small milestone 0.0.19, which is for the next 2 weeks. But this particular item is for the gRPC supported providers, right? So we added support for gRPC in 0.0.14. And right now we have 4 releases from that. So the plan is v0.0.19 will be the last release that supports backward compatibility with the old provider invoking format and also having the gRPC format. And starting from 0.0.20, we're going to deprecate the old way of doing it, which means all providers should have a release that works with gRPC changes. So implementing the gRPC server. So I wanted to bring this up because I think right now 2 out of the 3 providers already have the support for gRPC. So I think we just have to make sure that the other provider also gets the support. There's already a work in progress PR, so hopefully we can get that merged. And having it till the 0.0.20 release gives the provider the time to get it merged and also have all the tests updated to use the new format.
All right, any comments or everyone's okay? Okay. All right. Last thing on the list is I just want to kind of just take a moment. It's a new year. I know we have our roadmap out here. We got some things in flight, and obviously we got a backlog. But just curious from the community, are there any kind of big ticket items that we may want to focus on for this maybe semester or the whole year?
Yeah, so I think last year we went through the stability doc. So it's also a little bit work in progress because I'm looking at another link that Rita had shared, and I'm going reviewing that to add more criteria that we can add for the list. But
Okay.
probably for the next few months, I think what we want to do is we have a stable milestone. So we want to go through the items, pick issues from the stable milestone and start working on those so that we can get the driver to the stable release. And the same applies to the providers as well. And I think one thing that is probably missing is security review. We probably also want to add that to the milestone because I've had some users ask about security review. So
Got it.
I
Okay.
think for that, maybe we should maybe let me ping one of the SIGAUTH people to see what we should do there. Like to see if they have a process for sub projects. I think let's start there, and if it depending on what kind of answer we get, we may have to also work with like just CNCF to fund it. But let's start with SIGAUTH since it's a SIGAUTH sub project. What do you guys think?
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, because I think it does take some time to get funding and get like vendors, so we may as well kick off sooner rather than later.
Yeah, ideally, I think we would have most of the stable stuff kind of like done by that time, just so that there's not too much changing after the review, or at least not too much planned changes. But yeah, if it takes a while, then now's probably a good time to kick that off.
Is there something a bit more maybe can we break up these into maybe more attainable milestones, like smaller chunks? Are there some of these that are lower hanging fruits that we can do sooner rather than later? I'm just trying to organize this so that we can sort of have like tiny milestones before we hit the big stable milestone.
It is. So the way I have it right now is all the issues in general are in stable milestone pool. And then as we create the next smaller milestones, like when I created 0.0.19, I moved some of them from stable to the next milestone. So I think whenever we decide that this is something that we can get it done in the next release, so we just move it from stable to the new one. And stable is basically just a pool for everything that we really want to do for stable.
Right.
Will
And does
will stable? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, will stable? Will that take us to a V1 status, or is that just still a minor?
Are you talking about the API version, or in terms of the?
Yeah, I guess
I think you're
just
talking
wanna
about
make-
release this project release version, not the APIs, right?
Right.
Okay, so when we burn down stable, where does that put us? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
I would imagine we could potentially cut a v1.0 release.
Okay.
It's a good signal to the community that, hey, it's gone through a lot of vetting and stability testing and all of that. So yeah, so to answer your question, yes, it's a v1.0 release, not no impact on the APIs, however.
Gotcha. All right. That is the last item on the agenda. I'll open the floor if there's anything else anyone wants to chat about.
I do want to come back to our new member on the call just to see if there's any questions or anything that maybe we can help clarify or is there anything that you think we can collaborate on? Is another way to ask, I guess.
Yeah, so yesterday we mentioned, like we said in one of our meetings, that we had to go to the Seek Oath group, but I can't remember exactly why. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not pre-prepared.
Okay,
But I
no worries.
promise next time. So in 2 weeks, I will probably have more like real questions.
Okay, great.
But there is some interesting things that Site Manager would be interested in working on, I guess. But
Okay,
I'm sorry
great.
for.
Oh no, I just figured we'd come back to this. But yeah, definitely, feel free to discuss this at a later call. By the way, are you on Slack, the Kubernetes
Yeah.
Slack? I
Yes,
couldn't
yes.
find you.
Mel. Wait. Sorry, in the CSI channel.
No, the Kubernetes Slack. It's okay. I guess I can.
Here. Okay, I pinged you.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, we always appreciate fresh eyes, Mel. So if you're going through some of the docs and some stuff isn't clear, yeah, just throw an issue out there or let us know.
Thank you so much. This feels so welcoming. This is nice.
Oh,
Thank you
thanks.
for joining.
Yeah. All right. So that brings us to the end. Oh, sorry. Was someone chiming in?
I was just gonna ask one other thing. Previously, during the few like vulnerabilities that we found, like I threw out an idea about like what if the driver was the one that wrote to the file system rather than the plugins, like in expanding the gRPC interface to allow that to happen. I'm wondering if it's worth it for me now to put like effort into writing a proposal for that. Like, does that sound like a direction we might want to go, or not? Yeah, because I can write up like more of a design doc on it if we think it would help with help plugins. But if not, then
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So that the idea that you're referring to is basically the provider fetching the contents from the external secret store and then sending it back to the driver, and then the driver being the only one that's writing to the file system, right?
correct. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, I mean, I feel it's a good addition to the driver.
Okay. Then I'll write a more complete doc and like look more into pros and cons of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think if we do go down that route, it could minimize privilege on the provider side, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I think some
Yeah.
of the downsides is I don't know how many secrets people usually fetch at a time, and like the size of those and the feasibility of kind of like passing those over the gRPC thing. But
Mm.
Yeah,
so
I
far
mean-
I've seen pretty few at a time, but I don't have a large sample size.
So one thing is we've been seeing GitHub requests where users want to use regular expression. So they basically want to fetch all the secrets that they have in their external secret store. So my guess is they have quite a few. I mean, at least one user that I talked to on Slack said they have about 100, 150 secrets, and they don't want to add each individual one to the array. So they just want to have a regular expression, and every secret that matches on that regex is fetched by the CSI driver.
Interesting. Do you know if those secrets are all like API tokens versus all like certs?
It's mostly just passwords, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks. I'll write up a doc on that, and we can discuss it more there and other use cases there.
All right. Thanks to Tommy. I think that brings us to the end. I guess I got one other question. Are we okay with the cadence bi-weekly? Is that good? Seeing some head nods. Okay. Just want to throw that back out there. All right. So if that's the case, then we will see everyone in a couple of weeks, January 21st, for our next call. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Yep.
Happy
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Bye.